Hey, Alicia, I have something I need to tell you.
Okay.
You're not the most beautiful woman out here, and you're also not the most intelligent woman out here, but I really love you.
Oh, really? Go. How about you go find you the most intelligent and the most beautiful and work with that.
Well, it's like that. It's
Yeah.
like that. It's like that. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. And what we were referencing is this really crazy thing that happened with this poor guy who just put his foot in his mouth. His name's Solomon Buchi, and he thought I guess he thought he was giving his fiance a compliment, and it turned out to be the diss of the century.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of cringy, kind of cringy. And so anyway, we're gonna break some of this down. I figured as a relationship therapist, you could help this couple in their first therapy session.
But hold on, isn't he supposed to be a relationship expert? Doesn't he? He's self-proclaimed.
Well, he's a life coach
Oh, he's a life
who
coach.
needs a whole lot of coaching. He needs a coach. He needs a trainer. He needs a he needs a PR specialist. He needs a relationship repair expert.
It just wasn't the smoothest approach.
Ooh, buddy.
He needs some lessons on how to be smooth.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to say hello to Jamaica and Eugene and Fred Woodward and Lady Ivory Media LLC, Jay from Dallas. Hey, what's going on? Shout out the city that you're from. Let us know what city you're coming from. And we want to welcome you to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. My lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. She is actually a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. And so I know that Alicia, when she saw this story, which actually you sent it to me because
I sent you to.
yeah, shout out to Black Enterprise. They covered it. And we just said, guys, there's so much going on here, so much to talk about. So before we get started, I want to say hello to Angelia Potts out of San Antonio. I see Veronica out of Dallas. My name is Corey out of Baltimore. Renee out of San Diego. And also give us a yes or no if you can hear us okay. Let us know you can hear us. Give us a yes in the chat if you can hear us okay. We just want to make sure our audio is good. We always start the podcast off with a quick sound check. All right. So, let me know, how many of you guys heard about this thing with this guy who proposed to his fiance and just kind of
Was it that he made a statement? Was that like his written statement he made?
yeah, he put it on Instagram. Maybe he thought he was writing in his diary. You know, like that's what you would put in your diary. Well, she ain't the prettiest. She ain't the most intelligent. But
She'll do. She'll do until someone really intelligent comes
till I get what I
by.
really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking. It was kind of strange because the comment was just crazy, and I'm gonna pull up the comment so we can actually hear his words. I think out of fairness to him,
You're gonna read it.
we should hear. I think if we want to be fair to the brother, we should hear what he said, specifically what he said, because I know the feeling of like when people paraphrase or misquote you, and they don't actually ask you, you know, what you actually were trying to say or read your quote directly. And also, I think that we should try to maybe figure out what he was trying to say, because here's the deal. So he proposes to this woman, and he really loves her. Like you could tell, he was like, "I really love you." And I believe that one of the best ways a man shows he loves a woman is when he does like a public proclamation. You know, like he publicly states to everybody, "I love this woman. This is my woman. I am spoken for." And I think that he deserves some credit for that. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, of course, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
let's pull up. Let's see.
He's being brave.
Right. Oh, Fred says there's no sound. Are you guys able to hear us? Let us know. Give us a yes if you can hear us. Okay, Fred. I don't know if you're the only one or if everybody else is having no sound. Or let us know if you have no sound. Or actually let us know if you can hear us. Because I'm a little bit concerned right now. So let me pull up his quote while we wait for feedback on whether or not everybody can hear us.
No one says anything.
Okay, yeah, everybody's saying yes.
Oh, okay.
That's so true. I guess if they didn't answer
no
the
one's
question.
Gonna say no, I can't hear you. Ask the question if you can hear me.
I know I sound just like the guy who put his foot in his mouth on this.
That's smart. You're not the most intelligent, boys.
I know, right? But you love me anyway.
I love you anyway.
Boys, you ain't handsome, you ain't smart, but I love you. I love you a lot. with your dumb ass. All right, so here's what he had to say. Let me just read his comment. He says, "You're not the most beautiful woman, neither are you the most intelligent woman."
Wait, hold on. He starts
That was his first
the
sentence.
message. So the very first sentence in the message is like a put down.
Yeah, I think that,
what is that?
You know what would have been better? Like if he said, "You're not perfect." I know you're not perfect, and neither am I. Or just something like if you say you're not perfect, that's one thing. But if you say you're not the most beautiful,
why would he start it like that? So like before you post something like that, you should let another person read it. I'm sure one other person close to him, maybe the fiance herself, would have said, "Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's rephrase this.
Let's say that differently."
That was not a good way to start off.
And I think that's one good thing that you therapists are able to teach is you show people how to say what you got to say, but say it in the right way. That's what I've learned from therapy.
Yeah. You have to know how to I mean, because honesty is important, but so is being civil. So there's a nice way to get your point across in the way that's not starting off like you ain't really that cute and you ain't really that smart, but I love you anyway and I'm gonna marry you. Like that's just really kind of anyway. Keep reading.
Okay, he says, "You're not the most beautiful woman, neither are you the most intelligent woman. But like I've chosen to never find perfection in anyone else, I put my gaze on you. And with that commitment, we would mold ourselves for ourselves. Our perfection is in our commitment." So he says, so it sounds like he's basically saying, it's not your looks. Your looks ain't what got me here. Like, and I think it seems to me like what he's trying to say. Like maybe he's kind of because if you look at his image, right? Remember, he's a 26-year-old life coach. I don't know what the hell you know about life that can make you. Right? I think that right there is comical.
It's but like a half life coach,
right? But at 26, you really think that you're like really grown. Like,
no, I did not think I was grown.
When I was 26, I thought I had experienced like 2 lifetimes.
No, I did not. When I was 26, I was like, I'm not even 30. I don't even know what's going on.
I you know what? Remember, I was teaching. At 26, I had been teaching college for 4 years.
Okay, so that says something.
So I knew a lot of stuff. But anyway, let me go back. So he's a pretty confident guy. I think I saw some pictures where he's kind of promoting himself with this life coach thing.
By the way, he and his fiance are a beautiful couple. By the way,
I think they are.
I don't know what he's talking about.
His wife is gorgeous. Like,
look how cute they are.
Look at that pretty lady. Oh, I mean, what do y'all think?
He
better watch out. He
did very well.
But he better watch out.
He did better than she did.
He did better than she did. Well, I mean, he's a 26-year-old life coach, so maybe he's got to make money or something. I don't know.
What? Oh, you think he has something else to compensate for things?
He obviously is not the most intelligent.
And he's not smooth. Like, sometimes, I don't know.
It's like smoothness can get you brownie points.
He was trying to be bold and trying to make a point. But wait, keep reading his...
I'm not going to sit here and make fun of a 26-year-old, although I probably already did a little bit. But I really think he should be heard to try to understand what he was trying to say. Because I think he kind of put his foot in his mouth. So,
okay, continue.
So he said, stating that you're not the most beautiful, intelligent might sound like it's not a compliment.
No, it's not a compliment.
So he addresses it though. But listen, he says, yeah, but it's a realistic base for real love. Acknowledging that my woman isn't the best, but I'm not looking for the best. I was looking for you and I found you. There's no best. There's just someone who you choose and see the best in them. This to me is the real love, not the one that consoles itself in the full reality that their partner is the most good-looking, most intelligent, most successful person in the world. That's disingenuous and doesn't give room for love to thrive. I love you. I'm committed to you. I miss you so much, but my love for you is stronger than distance.
Are they apart somewhere? Are they not together?
I don't know. That part I don't know.
Are they physically apart?
I don't know. I guess
he needs to explain that. I don't get it.
I think he probably should just stop explaining anything. Like,
stop. He left me confused.
Yeah, stop talking because
that's not romantic.
Here's the thing: his fiance, obviously she's okay with this, right? And you see her there; she's such a pretty lady, right? And and I think that it's one of those things where she probably understands him.
Well, we would hope so.
Like, we're mad for her. Right? Like, we're pissed off for her. We're like, what are you marrying?
No, I think they're okay. I think his message is a pretty good message, right? But he just needed to like put like the last paragraph at the beginning. Like even if he had started with like something a little more positive, like you always want the first sentence to be upbeat. And actually he could have just eliminated the first sentence and just gone in with anything else, the rest of what he said.
Well,
it would have been okay.
That's a good point.
He needs to edit and think. Sometimes when you write something, you should put it down and take a nap and wake up and look at it again.
Well, what about the fact that he's Nigerian? Do you think that means that like Americans are going to see it as something other than
I don't think Nigerians, but I don't think so. Like that. I know Nigerians.
Yeah, I went to his page and a lot of Nigerian women were trying to
beat him up too.
Yeah, they were. There's a lady here. This lady said, "This is the dustiest hat." And this is the dustiest hat and message I have ever seen. Much like his beard, the sentiment simply doesn't connect. Then somebody said and they used the N-word, got the nerve to have on bifocals in a Gordon Garnell. I don't know what a Gordon Garnell is.
Gordon Gartrell?
Gartrell, yeah.
Oh, is that from the Cosby Show? When Denise?
I don't know what a Gordon Gartrell is. I don't.
You don't remember the episode, the famous episode from the Cosby Show? I'll show it to you later.
Yeah, you gotta help
when Denise tried to sew Theo a Gordon Gartrell shirt, and he got it all messed up. Crazy. It was one of the funniest. It's an iconic episode. But anyway, I'll show it to you later. Oh. You've seen it. You just don't remember.
Oh, okay. By the way, everybody, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. Dr. Alicia, she's building a database of single Black people who are looking for quality B1 people that they can date. B1 meaning Black first, intelligent, kind, looking for something serious. So if you're in that category and you want to actually join Dr. Alicia's database, you can go to boyceandalicia.com. The link is right there. Also, on that page, you can get a free e-copy of my book, Financial Lovemaking. We're all about love and all about money and all about just a drama-free, happy existence. So go to boyceandalicia.com, and we'd love to support you and help you out. All right, so hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Okay, so let's say that this couple, Solomon Buchi, the guy who in Nigeria, the life coach who told his wife, or fiance, that you're not the most beautiful, you're not the most intelligent, etc. And so now you're a couple and you're dealing with the internet. The internet is pretty vicious. When you and I got married, remember that there were a lot of people who congratulated us, but there were some people who, for whatever reason, just decided that they wanted to make it into a spectacle. And we were able to handle it pretty well. I think that we, like we're grown, right? But if we're in your 20s and you got, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on the internet making things up, attacking you, saying things that are not nice and not fair, I imagine, you might want to sit down with a therapist or something to help. So what would you say if this was like a couple that came into your office and said, this is what we're going through? How do we work through this? Where would you start?
Well, I want to first talk about like my reaction to what he's stating in terms of what is beautiful. There are a lot of men who call women beautiful, and it's bullshit. Like, they're not beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of men would just like throw that word out there. But, in actuality, beauty is what beauty does. Like, so if you call me beautiful, Boyce, like, I'm hoping that you're commenting on who I am as a person and not my outer appearance.
Right. Okay.
So I just wanted to make that statement about like beautiful. Like, what is that? What is he? Because he was talking about you're not the best looking. Like, what is that? I mean,
I think he means like you're not the like it's not fair to somebody
looking a certain way.
It's not fair to put that. Pay attention though, right? Like a couple of things I pick up on is, one, if I say you're the most beautiful woman in the world or something like that, I mean, a man is kind of lying when he says that, because there's only one woman is the most beautiful woman in the world, and the definition of beauty changes, right? So, I imagine, and then remember, beauty fades. So if outer
beauty fades, yes,
right, and inner beauty's still there, but still, we have our ugly days, we have our ugly sides. And so I don't even know if saying things like you're the most beautiful in the world or you're the most whatever in the world. It's kind of like telling a man, like, you know, your thing is the biggest thing I've ever seen. And that ain't usually true. Usually,
well, Prince said it.
What he said, what?
He wrote a song about, could it be you're the most beautiful girl in the world?
Right.
Remember
And
that?
that's romantic, right? People like that.
That's
right?
a little romantic.
And I get it, but at the same time, you know, fundamentally it's not always true. But the reality is that we don't always want 100% truth in everything. Sometimes it's okay to, you know, to tell a man, like, you know, you're the best I've ever been with, or something like that, because you don't want to deal with the insecurities that might come if you say, well, my ex-boyfriend was a little bit better. You're not the best in the bed, but I love you anyway. You know, I think it's just better to kind of focus on the positives of the person that you're with, because you chose that person.
Okay, so beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So it is, you know, someone could be the most beautiful person to them, you know, because it's in the eye of the beholder. It's a subjective thing. So what could be beautiful to one person could not be beautiful to another.
Right.
You know, it's like it reminds me of like a story about a little boy who lost his mom. And he's like, have you heard of that story? The fable?
Mm-mm.
It's a fable about
the
the little boy who loses his mom and he's going around to the police. And he's like, I lost my mom. And the police was like, what does she look like? And he was like, she's the most beautiful woman ever. She is beautiful. And he's talking about it. And then they're bringing all these runway models. And they're like, is this her? No, that's not her. Is this her? No, that's not her. And then off in the corner, you see a lady dressed in rags, teeth missing, hair all over the place. And he gets all excited and he says, that's her. That's my mom. Isn't she the most beautiful woman in the world? And so it's a beautiful fable or story, illustration about how beauty is just what you think it's going to be for you. So, I mean, you know, on some level, that's what beauty is.
Okay, so you're saying that maybe because he's 26, the first thing we might say is, or help him understand the definition of beauty. Because I don't get a sense he was thinking that deep. Remember,
no, he wasn't thinking that deep.
He's a 26-year-old who thinks he's a life coach, right? So I think that it's like, I think he's literally, you never know. I don't know how many Instagram followers he had or whatever girls he might have chose to be with. I see it in a more pragmatic kind of position where he was saying something out loud he shouldn't have said out loud, which is, okay, I got, you know, gorgeous women, you know, in my DMs. I have, you know, the women.
Is that what he's saying?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Honestly, that's what I'm picking up on. I'm picking up on him saying out loud, which he shouldn't have said, which is, I got these gorgeous women I could be with, and she's pretty too. She's not the prettiest one of the group. Like, if you were having a conversation, if I were talking to a man to man, he might say, yeah, you know, I mean, if I were to rate them in terms of physical looks, she might be fifth in the list. There are other women that are prettier. And then we would talk about the fact that, you know, that this is a woman you love because she has that internal beauty that you're talking about. She has that extra thing that an Instagram thought can't have. That it's like, yeah, there are women that can, you know, toss it and look good and have the curves. But there's like that extra intangible that makes you the woman that a man is gonna like really get close to and cry over. Like when a lot of guys made so much fun of me, you know, because I cried when I proposed to you, because I just felt that overwhelming amount of love towards you. And that's the part of a man's heart that you don't get by looking good. You can't get that you can't be beautiful enough to get that part of me. The sex can't be good enough to make me cry. It has to be something deeper where it's like, you are this just immeasurably valuable commodity for me to have in my life. And I'm so honored to be with you. And I just treasure you, and you can't be replaced. Like, that is the goal. And it seems to me, honestly, that's what he's trying to say. Right. But he just said it in just the really incorrect sort of way. But, you know, I think, again, he's a 26-year-old guy who thinks he's a life coach. So I think he deserves a little bit of slack. I don't know.
Half life coach. Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is that I think with beauty is so subjective because, like, whose standards are we using to measure someone as being beautiful? in terms of phenotypes, in terms of like your outward appearance. I think that's what I'm referring to. Why am I bringing up a biology term in this class? But yeah, it's just I think it's whose standards are we adhering to, and everybody has their own different standards. Like what you would like, I might not like, or some other guy may like. She all right, but you may fall over, for somebody.
Well, that's I mean that's certainly true, right? Like we all know that everybody has their own measure of beauty, but we all have the right to the measure that we value, so he's picking, he's choosing, just like she's picking and she's choosing, and who knows, maybe she would say the same thing to him. You're not the most handsome man I could be with right now, but I love you because you're you and because you're unique and you're special. And I think that part of loving connection is underutilized and under established amongst a lot of our youth. Like I feel bad when you have so many people that really think that your goal needs to be to compete as a commodity. Okay, it's like an economic term. Like if you compete as a commodity, meaning like, okay, I want to have the nicest booty, I want to be the prettiest one, I want to get the best sex. That's hard. That's a really tough competition to win, because
if you got money, then you can go somewhere and get all of that augmented.
Well, the problem is though,
to fit a certain standard.
But you know what? You can get all the makeup in the world, all the surgery in the world, but you're still gonna get old one day. And there's always gonna be a prettier. At least let's specifically talking about, say, women. There's always going to be a prettier younger girl out there somewhere, right? So really, I would say where you start winning the competition is when you start competing on the intangibles, on the things. And actually, in economics, the term they use is called a monopolistic competition, or product differentiation, where basically, it's like, there's a lot of hamburger restaurants in this city. There's one on every corner: McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, or not Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, or whatever. But there's no hamburger like our hamburger. It's the Alicia burger, and you can't get the Alicia burger anywhere but here. So even so even though you're selling the hamburger like everybody else, your hamburgers are Alicia burgers, and that allows you to have a space that's yours and all your own. And I really feel like a lot of I don't think young people really get that. I don't think they're really taught that as much. So I would celebrate their love in that regard, assuming that he grows up and learns that what he said was wrong. I think there's potential here. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think I don't know if what he said was wrong, but more so how he said it. That could have been wrong. Now we don't know her reaction to it. We haven't heard from her. I would hope that they get married and live a full life together and have really pretty children, because they're a cute couple. I would hope that they would understand that. I don't know. It just makes me worried about like all of I'm trying to think about these standards of beauty, and having 2 teenage children, daughters. I always just, it just comes across my mind as something that I'm concerned with. Like, why does it take her so long to get dressed in the morning? Is she trying to adhere to these beauty standards of what she wants to look like, and she can't get it quite right? So I'm always worried about like self-esteem issues among people, particularly on social media. Do they feel like they have to look a certain way and dress a certain way and have certain clothes if you're into fashion and all of that? Like, clothes should make you feel good, but it shouldn't be required for you to feel like you're pretty. So it's always something that I struggle with, having at this point teenage daughters. It's always something that I'm a little worried about.
Everybody, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, who is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work. She actually sees couples on a regular basis. If you'd like to learn more about what she does, just visit coachingwithdralicia.com, where you can follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia, or you can follow us both on Instagram at Boyce and Alicia. So Dolitha, let me I want to get to Dolitha's comment. Dolitha feels that that what he said was very disrespectful. He made it sound like he was doing her a favor. She says there are more appropriate ways to say I love you, just the way you are. I would never post something like that about a man I'm supposed to love. Now, again, I want to go back. I don't know how old you are, Dolitha, but remember he's 26, right? And I think that has to be considered. If he were 46, it'd probably be different. And I want to go to that point she makes about how he sounds like he's doing her a favor by marrying her. So that's an interesting thing, right? Because I think about it like sex, right? Like, so let's say that a man is trying to get a woman to sleep with him, and he knows she's going to have a great time, and they do it.
He knows that. How does he know that?
Let's say he just knows he got it like that, right?
No.
And so he talks her into doing it.
I got thoughts about that.
She says, and then she sleeps with him, and let's say that after that he's not interested in dating her, and she says, "Why would you do that to me? I slept with you. I did something for you. I gave myself to you," right? That I don't think that would be seen as an odd statement. I think that people can understand, even though they both enjoyed it, even though they both benefited from the experience.
Assuming they both enjoyed.
Let's say that they both enjoyed. Let's say that she says, "Yeah, I liked it," and he says, "Yeah, I liked it," but then she says, "I did this for you," and he says, "You didn't do me a favor. You did yourself a favor." I don't think that would be an appropriate statement. I think that there is a different view that men and women both have of sex where, I think that when you shared your body with me the first time we got together, even though I feel like we both enjoyed the experience and all that stuff, it still takes a little bit more trust on your part for you to commit to me in that way, than it does for me as a man. I think men and women are different that way. So when I flip it, I think the same thing that's true for sex for women is also true for marriage for men. Even though men benefit tremendously from marriage in a lot of ways, a lot of men don't want to get married, and so what happens is I can relate because I was in that category. I didn't want to really get married. I didn't look forward to the idea of being married. What it was though was that when I got with you, I said, "This woman is so awesome. I would be willing to make this kind of commitment because I really want to be with her and I really want to do this." So it wasn't marriage that made me get married. It was you that made me willing to do the work required to be married. So it wasn't as if I was doing you a favor per se.
So looks is not enough. Even love is not enough.
Okay, wait, but you're not answering my question.
I thought I was answering your question. Okay.
No, but I'm talking about like Dolitha's comment. Dolitha was saying that he acts like he's doing her a favor by marrying her. I would venture to say, at the risk of sounding a little messed up when how I say it, that when a man does commit to a woman publicly, especially a man who has a lot of options, like let's say it's Atlanta and you're outnumbered 9-1 by women, but you pick one, but you pass all that up to pick one good woman and you say, "This is a woman I want." I think that to some extent that does say something, like the man is actually giving something, that he didn't have to give, that he may not have wanted to give in most circumstances. And I think that should be acknowledged on some level.
I would hope that when two people get together, they feel like they're the luckiest people in the world. Like when they decide they're going to get married, I would hope that you feel like you're the luckiest man in the world, and I feel like I'm the luckiest woman in the world because we're together. So I would hope it would be a match, vice versa, and you just like thrilled to be with each other and not anybody else. That would be my hope. That would be my hope when people get married.
Yeah,
that's the good foundation for a nice, healthy relationship. So if they were in my office, that's what I would say to them.
I think that's
like, you're not with me looking out and thinking, ooh, that lady over there or that relationship over there, that sure would be nice. But you're with me. I certainly would hope that someone is not with someone else thinking that they're settled.
Well, I wouldn't say it's settled, but I do think that the term "settle down," it does mean you're settling, but settling is not a bad thing.
Wait, but not in the settling sense.
Right,
like,
settling.
I'm settling for you.
Well, in terms of accepting, unacceptable standards, I think that's a problem. But I think the idea of settling, actually, I think that can actually be okay in some contexts. It's like, stop always chasing, chasing waterfalls. Sometimes
don't go chasing waterfalls.
Right. Sometimes you gotta. Sometimes stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Right. Because sometimes it's like when I invest. When I'm an investor, a lot of investors go chasing extra money. They're always chasing the money. And then they don't lose the money because they're always chasing more money over here, more money over there. And they're never happy with what they have. That's capitalism. Capitalism teaches you to never be happy with what you have. You're always chasing something more.
Greed. Always looking for greed.
Right. So as a business owner and as an investor, I settle all the time. Sometimes I say, yeah, I know I could make an extra $100,000 if I go this direction, but I'm okay. I make enough money. I'm gonna settle with what I have and focus on the other things that matter to me more than money.
That's not the definition of settle that I was thinking of. It's just like I don't. It's like she's not that pretty and she's not that smart, but I guess I settled with her.
Well, let's be clear. No. But he did. But let's be clear though. He did not say she's not that pretty, not that smart.
Okay,
he starts
did
off
say not
specifically. He said, "You're not the most beautiful woman. Neither are you the most intelligent woman." Oh my God!
That's awful.
Right? Well, here's the thing, right? I think he's trying to say like you're not number one on the list in those categories, but it sounds like he's saying like you're not beautiful, you're not intelligent, which is like oof. That's tough. So what would you say? So let's go back to so coaching with Dr. Alicia, you coach couples on stuff like this. What would
that would be the one thing I would say.
How would you coach this couple? Like, how do you help them heal and get past this? Like they're getting beat up on.
Oh, they get beat up on. Well,
yeah.
I would.
So where do you start?
Well, I just mentioned before about having a conversation with them about commitment and saying, okay, you guys are healthy couples. Because usually what I say is that here's what healthy couples do. Healthy couples are together and they don't want to be with anybody else. They think that they've gotten the perfect person for them. So it's beauty's in the eye of the beholder. They would get all of that information. This is what healthy couples do. They're not married to each other and looking over at other men or other women thinking, wow, I wish I could get with that. Okay. So they know they're just happy with what they have and they think they got the best for them.
Okay. And that's
number one for healthy couples.
And that's clearly he's clearly saying like she's unique. There is no other version of her. Like that to me is okay. That's a huge compliment for him.
We'd have a conversation about that.
Yeah, for him to say, I love you because you're you. There's nobody that can replace you. So that's got to give him a couple of points. But continue.
And then also, if they were in my office, I would ask them, why is it so important to be accepted by a bunch of people they don't know? What's more important with couples is that they just love each other. Who cares what other people think? Okay. Like really, really what matters is the space between two people. If a married couple's together or engaged couple are together, the only thing that matters is what happens between them. Who cares what everybody else thinks? Why is it so important that other people need to think a certain way about their relationship? People they don't even know. They don't even know us. They shouldn't even care what we think. As long as she's sitting there and look at that picture of her, she's smiling and she's happy with him, then that's fine. Okay. That's what's important.
Okay.
That's what I would say to them. I would have a conversation with them about who are they trying to impress. I would also have another conversation about authenticity and tact and you choosing your words. And if there's a statement online, I would have them to come up with an agreement on whenever messages are being sent out on social media about their relationship, that both of them read the message together and approve it together and say, okay, this gets gold standard of approval. You may now post this. Because, sometimes people just post things and you're like, wait, what you posting that for? I didn't want you to post that information about us, so sometimes I would just have them have a conversation. As long as they're tight in their relationship and they're secure and they feel good about each other, who cares what anyone else thinks? So I would want to have a conversation about why it would be important for other people to see them in a certain way. And however they want people to see them, they need to show that.
Okay. And by the way, everybody, you're listening to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And we like to have intelligent conversations about things that are happening in the Black community. And if you want to learn more about what Alicia does, you can actually visit her at coachingwithdralicia.com. Or you can just follow her on Instagram at Coaching with Dr. Alicia. So there's a nice, cute picture of her in that yellow
picture do you have? Oh, you like that picture of me.
I love that picture. You look good.
That's your go-to picture.
Yes, because you're so hot. Oh my God.
Well, thank you.
You look thick-alicious. That's what you look like. Anyway, shout out to the thick Black women in the world. God bless all of y'all, and I got mine. So, brothers, I recommend you find you a nice, find your own, because this one's taken. But anyway, let me get back. So let me ask you this question then.
Yeah.
All right. So and everybody hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. So what if it's a different scenario? What if this couple comes into your office and let's say that they don't care about what the public thinks, but they have an issue with each other. Let's say that she read that comment and she's like,
she was furious.
She's furious. And let's say that he doesn't get it. Let's say he's like, but I declared my love for you. Like, I married you. I told you that, all these great things. Like, why are you so mad? Like, how would you handle that? So that, because it seems to me like if she does get upset or if she does get affected emotionally by what people are saying, it can cause problems in their marriage, especially when they're in their 20s. My Lord Jesus, that's going to be interesting.
So would she be upset about what people are saying? Or would she just normally be upset about all of that, what he's saying?
Just all of that. I mean, think about it. Think about it. Like, people are calling her dumb for being, like, they're not, like, they're mad at him for being dumb, allegedly. That's what they're claiming, right? But they're mad at her for picking a so-called dumb man, right? People are, like, talking crazy about her. So that's a lot of pressure. And I'm wondering, so how would you handle that? Like, let's say that she's like, what you said about me was messed up. Like, why would you say that? And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't get it. Like, that happens in a lot of relationships.
So why would he not get it? So what is it that he's not hearing that she's saying?
I mean, what if he just says, look, okay, I didn't say it perfectly, but I look at all the good things I said.
Oh, no, that's being defensive.
Okay.
So I think that's a problem.
Right. Okay.
I think in a lot of couples, if one person is trying to voice their concern or voice their hurt or voice some of their disappointment, and the other person is like, well, I said all these other things. I mean, that's really awful. That's a terrible response. So that's what they're saying is they're just being defensive. And instead of being defensive, he should just acknowledge. He should say, try to help. Okay, so I don't understand what you're saying. So this is where you need to practice empathy skills, right? Okay, I don't quite understand what you're talking about. Can you explain it to me? And then this is your job to listen. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I totally get what you mean. So I get it. And having empathy is not agreement. Having empathy is not sympathy. Having empathy is being able to just suspend what you think for a moment and put yourself in someone else's shoes and to say, yes, I get what you're thinking and I get how you're feeling. So empathy would be where I would work on with this particular person, and some acknowledgement instead of being defensive, because defensive is such a habit. People get into the habit of being defensive, and it's hard to break out of it.
Okay, so let's say that they're in your office and she demands an apology. She says, you must apologize to me, admit you were wrong, and promise me you'll never talk about us ever again on Facebook, on Instagram. And let's say that he says, no, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. If I apologize to you, I'd be lying. And I can talk about whatever I want on my Instagram. How do you build a bridge like that? How do you fix that?
Well, I don't think you should ever. So part of empathy and part of not being defensive is acknowledgement. So on some level, he needs to figure out what he can acknowledge that he's actually done wrong. And it's unusual that someone could be empathetic and have acknowledgement for what they've done wrong and not apologize for it. So, some people come from such a place of shame in their life that they can't apologize for anything because they think there's something wrong with them as a person if they apologize. So I would have a conversation about what does apology mean to you, because being able to apologize, being quick to apologize when you offend somebody is the hallmark of a healthy relationship. And if you can't apologize, then that relationship becomes really toxic. So you really have to have a conversation about, okay, what does apology mean to you? Like, it doesn't mean you're bad. Sometimes what you've done is bad. And for him to say, I'm just going to post whatever I want to post on social media and I don't really care, then you're kind of dismissing your part. It's a sign of a terrible relationship and something that's really toxic. So that's saying that he just like, I don't really care how you feel. I don't really care how you think. I'm just going to go and do what I want to do. So that tells me that her concerns is not being received as legitimate, and he's not being influenced by her concerns. So that's another thing to healthy relationship is to be influenced and persuaded by the fact that you hurt your partner. And that's why a lot of people come in my office, because they're just so hurt. They're hurt by something that their partner has done to them. And their partner's just like, so what? And I don't want to call people narcissistic. It is the hallmark of a narcissistic person that can't apologize, that constantly gets defensive, that's like, I don't really care what you think. I'm going to post whatever I want to post on social media. I don't want to call people that because I don't like the labels. Plus, I think the word narcissistic is just being thrown around all over social media. There are people who build their entire platform just on narcissist. I mean, every terrible thing you do does not make you a narcissist. But part of being a narcissist does include just total dismissal of someone else. You don't really care. All you care about, I'm going to post whatever I want. I'm a life coach, half life coach or whatever, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I don't really care what you think about it. I would advise her not to marry him at that point. They should wait until they should wait until they, I don't think you should marry someone that doesn't care about your feelings at all. And if you're in that type of relationship, it is toxic. And I think that you should work on that before you get married.
Okay. All right. Well, what do y'all think? I mean, do y'all think that she should go through with it, or do y'all think that she should?
Oh, she should go through with it. We don't know if this is the issue. We don't know if this is the issue between them. We're just hypothetically
I don't know. There were some pretty angry women in here, and I'm very upset. So yeah. Well, anyway, guys, so you listen to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and this is my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And my doctorate's in finance. Hers is in social work, and she's a licensed therapist. And so we love to talk about, love and money issues and everything in between, and just interesting things in the Black community. We like to have conversations against our pillows that, if you ever wonder what two professors talk about when they're laying in the bed, this is the kind of stuff that we do. And also, by the way, if you go to boyceandalicia.com, you can get a free e-copy of my book, Financial Lovemaking. I wrote it back in 2006. It's I think it's a pretty good book. And also, my wife is building a national database of Black people who are single that want to connect with each other. And she does this because she has this obsession with matchmaking and wants to see people in love and happy. So if you are single and you're looking for quality Black first intelligent people to connect with, we are working very hard to develop. I want to do digital speed dating, where you can actually have a space where people from all over the country, maybe all over the world, can just connect and just find quality people. Because so many people out here, some people out here dating roaches and stuff. I don't call them roaches, but
let me get into roaches.
I say roaches because sometimes you're dating, like you have good people. This is my theory. All right. You ready for my theory? Y'all ready for my theory?
I want to hear about the roach theory. Yes.
Okay. My theory is that good people can sometimes attract bad people.
How so? How can you do that?
If you're a giver, then you're going to attract takers. Right, because takers can't take from other takers because they don't want to get taken from. They want to take. So if you're a giver,
wait, but you mentioned good people attracting bad people.
Yeah.
So who's the bad person, the taker or the giver?
I think the taker's bad.
Taker's bad.
Yeah, because I think love should be reciprocal. Love is where I pour into you, you pour into me.
There's a lot of one-sided relationships. I see.
Yeah, love is just like economics. The same dynamics that make an economy run or make an economy freeze up are exactly what can make love run or make love freeze up. An economy does better when there's a lot of trust, because consumers have to trust businesses when it comes to spending their money, because if they think that they're going to lose their job in 6 months, they're not going to spend any money. Businesses have to trust that consumers are going to keep coming back, or they're going to stop making investments. Banks, when they loan you money, they have to trust that you're going to pay them back, because if they stop trusting that, they're not going to make loans, which freezes up the economy. So trust is huge. Everybody pours in, people take out. I buy from you, you buy from me. I sell to you, you sell to me. That's how an economy works. So the same thing I think is true with love. If you have two people that are good people and they're just pouring into each other, they just create a great economy of love.
For sure.
Opportunities for connection, all that. Whereas if you imagine two people who are takers, who don't have any trust at all, who keep their distance from each other, that's not going to be healthy love. I mean, it's going to maybe they'll get together and have sex and stuff, but as soon as somebody gets triggered, everything goes straight to hell.
Okay.
So
I
really
does this go with roaches then?
Well, what I like what you're doing. The reason I use that word roaches, and I know it sounds mean because I'm dehumanizing people, and I don't mean to do that. But I'm serious. Some people make you mad. Some people be like, "Dang," you'd be like, "Man, that was terrible what you did."
What? What would be terrible?
Well, if you have traumatized, because you got traumatized people in our community who abuse and harm others, and I see it. When I see some women, maybe they grew up in really tough circumstances and have gained a disposition that's just very harmful for their relationships. That's what I would see, not so much as a roach, but like a roach-like mentality. Like you're just not
scurrying.
Yeah, you just don't.
When the lights come on, you scurry away.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you have the extreme dark corners of the manosphere. Men who just have no respect for women, don't want to take any responsibility, don't even want to take care of their own damn kids, and they will blame single mothers for being pregnant when you out here making single mothers. Like, that's just tacky. I think I'm sorry, I feel like that's roach-like behavior, and I would like to see, and I don't mean to say it like that, I probably sound mean, so let me stop, but I would like to see good people get with other good people. That's why I like what you're doing, because I know that you were looking for people who want to date with intentionality, not so they can hook up, not so they can just traumatize each other, but so they can get together. Healthy people can get together in a healthy way, and I think that you bringing them together and then you coaching them along the way, it just increases the likelihood of them having a solid, quality, lasting situation.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, there probably are some. I think all of us. You are so funny. All of us, to some extent. Y'all don't see Boyce right now. Boyce is cracking me up.
I'm making funny faces.
Why don't you stop? You distracted me. I can't even look at you right now. Okay,
go ahead.
But Lord, I lost my point. Oh yeah, so there are a lot of traumatized people who can get together. They can get together just because you don't have. I am of the opinion that outside of severe mental health issues, okay, that even if you have like some trauma in your background, like I think some of that can be worked out through another person. Like some of it can be worked out in a relationship. If you have a loving, compassionate partner, they can help you get through.
With a lot of patience.
Compassion.
And tolerance for abuse.
No tolerance for abuse.
No, seriously. I mean,
no.
What if a man's traumatized and then makes him beat his wife, and the wife is like patient and she waits 20 years of goes through 20 years of beatings, like, I mean, I'm not saying, well, no, seriously,
I'm not saying,
no, but what I'm saying to you though is, like, that's the problem, is that it's almost like when you have people that say, okay, I want to go rebuild the hood. So it means you go live in the hood and maybe one of your kids gets shot, and you're dealing with stuff in the hood because you're trying to fix a very sick place. I think it's the same way. Like when you're trying to fix a sick man, it does take resilience and patience and all that. And I admire women that do that, but then you're at risk of hitting that point where that person's behavior, the way they lash out, the way they cope, they may cope with drugs, they may cope with violence, or alcoholism. You're dealing with all that as you're patiently trying to love this person to a better place. So it almost seems to me like you have to have a middle ground where you have to be dealing with someone who can at least acknowledge their shortcomings and work consistently to improve them.
Exactly. And the best way to do that is in a relationship. The best way to stretch and to grow and to become a better version of yourself, I think, is in a committed relationship. Someone that is a nice, secure relationship is the best way to do that. But definitely, I'm not thinking that you should need to have your boundaries. You shouldn't put up with, you should, say, hey, we're not going to be hitting each other out of anger. We're not going to yell at each other out of anger. We're not going to say terrible things to each other out of anger. You could hold yourself to that level of respect for each other. And if you ever fall below it, of course, you should definitely acknowledge that and don't be defensive. That's where if someone is falling below a level of respect and you're telling them this is disrespectful and they're like, fuck you, I don't care. I'm going to post whatever I want. I'm going to hit you whenever I want. I mean, then that's not a situation where that person is committed to the relationship. So
that is true.
Right.
Yeah. I think the amount of effort that someone's willing to put into
Yeah.
working with you, compromising with you, showing up in their best self for you, that is a to me, that's I see that as a sign of love. Just like even in business, like I relate everything to economics and business as well. But like I mentioned today that when I meet somebody on a meeting, I like to work with people who get to meetings early, because you get into the meeting early shows me that you plan ahead. You are eager to make this meeting happen. You want to make sure nothing goes wrong. You value the meeting. But if you show up, if you're barely on time or you're late, that tells me that, number one, that you're sloppy and you don't plan ahead. And then also you don't really value the meeting. If you don't value something, you don't take care of it. So I don't know if I want
It's like the Mafia. Remember the Mafia? What Mafia movie did we watch? And they were like, you show up to the meeting late and you got on, I don't know, Hawaii pants. What outfit?
Oh, well, that was I know there's
what movie was that?
Well, there's a mob boss named Michael Francis who used to be heavy in the mob.
But there was a movie about it.
Yeah, and he's right. He said, yeah, if you show up too late to a meeting, it's a big deal. Like they will, like that can cost you everything. And I agree. I think that's so I think the same thing is true with any relationship. If you're not showing up as your best self,
right,
then other people are going to interpret your behavior in a specific way. So,
like, you don't care. Okay, you don't care about me. You didn't show up.
Right. You don't value this. Yeah. So, by the way, so if you want to join Alicia's database for singles, feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com. The URL's right there on the screen. And actually, before we finish, you guys know also she's doing speed dating again this year at the All Black National Convention. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to the convention, but it's going to be, I hope you will come to the All Black National Convention. It's really great. And it's basically the premier gathering of all Black first people all around the world. And we're going to meet in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th through the 30th. And we're not just going to have the speed dating. I mean, we've got panels and keynotes on everything: politics, relationships, hip hop, economics, cryptocurrency, how to start a business, how to invest in the stock market. I'm meeting up with members of the book club. We've got a billionaire coming through. The former chairman of the Air Jordan brand, Larry Miller, is going to be there. He is going to talk about how he turned the Air Jordan brand into a $3 billion company. He took Michael Jordan's brand, and Michael Jordan now makes more money after playing than he did while he was playing. Larry Miller is going to be there. So there's a lot of great people coming to the convention this year. So if you'd like to learn about the convention or decide if you want to bring your family, you can go to BoyceWatkins.com, October 28th through the 30th. It's going to be awesome. So I hope you'll join us. You will walk away transformed. I guarantee it. All right. So I'll let Dr. Alicia get the last word in. Did you have any final thoughts? I don't know.
Yeah, my final thought would be for this Solomon. Solomon is 26. Solomon, you need to just practice how you interface with the public. And it's, it can be an unforgiving place sometimes. And I think he's learned his lesson. I think we should follow him just to see his transition. I think he'll do much better in his words. I think he was trying to make this into a teachable moment. I do think that hopefully his wife understands, or his wife to be understands where he was really coming from. Hopefully they've hashed it all out if there has been any type of issue. And it's just hard being a public couple. Sometimes it can be very difficult. So you just have to be very keen on the type of information that you put out there.
All right. Well, my parting thought is you don't have to put everything on the internet. And he's 26 years old. I think there's still room for growth. Hopefully he didn't have ill intent with what he said. Hopefully he's going to hear the lessons that are going to come from this experience. Hopefully she's making the right choice. If he is a person that made that comment because he was either being malicious or disrespectful or not thoughtful about what he has to say, then obviously this will be a trend in the relationship. One of the things I would tell you is that relationships in your 20s are really hard. And so if you are young in your 20s or 30s and you find somebody that you want to spend time with and be with for good and you love them that much, I encourage you to get help. Just remember, there's books out there, there's YouTube videos, there's therapists, Black therapists all over the internet that don't get enough attention from our community. And all the while, all our relationships are falling apart. Our lives are falling apart. Many of us are struggling with mental health issues that can be fixed. And we're not utilizing the professionals in our community that can help us heal. So find your healing, and wherever you find it, and then I guarantee you'll be happier as a result. Well, anyway, guys, it was great to hang out with you guys on another Pillow Talk. Alicia's website, by the way, where she sees her clients and does everything else, is coachingwithdralicia.com. She has all kinds of therapy. She's doing some group stuff. She's also doing classes and things like that. And my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. And so thank you guys for hanging out with us. Please hit the thumbs up button on your way out. God bless you, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Bye, everyone.